There are four things she never allowed. Not in her kitchen. Not once in her entire life. Not on any rushed morning ever. Not even when the house was completely full of guests. I thought it was just her particular way. Maybe an old quiet habit she always carried. Maybe simple superstition from another era. I was completely wrong about every part of that. These were not habits developed casually over time. They were quiet laws she lived by without exception. Laws passed carefully down from her own mother before her, and from her mother's mother who lived and taught before that. These laws had nothing to do with cleanliness at all. They had everything to do with what flows into a home. Here is what I understand with complete clarity now. The kitchen is not simply the place where you cook. In the Jewish home, the kitchen is sacred ground. It is where provision enters and feeds the family each day. It feeds the body without question, but it also sets the financial temperature of everything under your roof. And most of us have been missing this truth entirely. We treat the kitchen like a simple utility room, a place to grab food and quickly leave without any thought. No rules, no intention, no awareness at all. That is exactly what this video is here to address today. If your money keeps disappearing without any clear explanation, if generosity never seems to find its way back to you, if the household always feels financially tight, no matter how hard you work, I want you to look at your kitchen first. Not at your bank account, your kitchen. I grew up watching my grandmother move through that room every day. She moved through it like that room genuinely mattered deeply to her. Not with ceremony every single time she entered it, just with a quiet, steady awareness that something real was at stake. She had a phrase she repeated almost every time she cooked. She would look slowly around the kitchen before she began preparing anything. She would say it softly, almost to herself, alone in that room. This kitchen feeds more than bodies. I was maybe 9 years old the first time I heard those words. I did not understand at all what she meant by them back then. I understand those words completely now. Let me show you the 4 things she never allowed in that kitchen. And I want to tell you something important before we begin. At least one of them is sitting in your kitchen right now. The first thing she never allowed was empty, open vessels left on the counter. Pots, bowls, cups, glasses. If a vessel was empty, it was washed and put away. Or it was filled again with something useful right away. It was never left sitting open, dirty, and hollow on the surface. Never left exposed on that counter for hours without any attention. This sounds like a simple cleaning preference to most people. It is not a cleaning preference at all. In the Jewish home, a vessel represents the home's true capacity, the genuine ability to receive what is coming toward you and your family. An empty, open, dirty vessel left in plain view does exactly one thing. It speaks to the home on your behalf every single hour. It says, "This is what we hold here inside these walls." Emptiness, lack, a waiting that never seems to find its end. My grandmother understood what most modern homes have completely forgotten. The home faithfully mirrors back exactly what you consistently show it day after day. Leave your surfaces quietly broadcasting lack, and lack settles in permanently. It becomes the conversation your home keeps repeating back to you. The rule she taught me was always clear and beautifully simple. A vessel in the home is either full, carefully covered, or completely clean, never left empty and exposed for the surrounding room to slowly absorb. Tonight, walk through your kitchen with real and deliberate intention. Look carefully at every pot, every bowl, every cup sitting there. If any vessel is sitting empty and wide open right now, wash it, or place something meaningful inside it before you allow yourself to sleep tonight. This is not about making your kitchen look better for anyone outside. This is genuinely how you begin speaking the language of provision into that room. The second thing she never allowed in that kitchen was bread treated carelessly. bread left abandoned down on the floor, crumbs left unswept and gathering for days without any care, a whole loaf stored without any cover, quietly going stale on a shelf. In Jewish homes throughout history, bread has never been considered ordinary food. Bread is livelihood itself, always treated with the deep honor and respect it deserves. The blessing spoken over bread, hamotzi, is not a ritual you rush carelessly through. It is a declaration that all provision flows from something far greater than our own hands. When you honor the bread in your home, you honor the provision standing behind it. My grandmother had a particular habit around fallen bread that I have never once forgotten. If even one small piece of bread fell to the floor, she stopped completely. She would pick it up carefully with both of her hands. She would hold it quietly for just one brief and still moment, and then she would gently and deliberately kiss it. Then she would decide whether to keep that piece of bread or to release it. I asked her once why she always kissed the bread when it fell. She looked at me the way she always did before saying something truly important. She said quietly, with complete conviction, "Because it fed someone once. Maybe not me today, but somewhere, this bread was someone's real answer to hunger." That single, small, quiet gesture carried the entire lesson fully inside it. Bread in the Jewish home was never treated as a product you consume without thought. It is a genuine gift directly from provision itself, and gifts do not belong forgotten and abandoned on any floor in any home. The rule about bread is clear and worth remembering every single day. Bread always deserves a real place of genuine dignity inside your home. Bread is always properly covered, appropriately elevated, and intentionally respected without compromise. Wrap your challah carefully and store it with real intention on the shelf. Sweep the crumbs before you rest tonight. This is not simply a chore to mark carelessly off a list. This is how you communicate clearly to your home that provision is welcome here. The third thing she never allowed was a blocked or cluttered path into the kitchen. Her hallway and kitchen doorway were always completely clear of any obstacle, always walkable, always open and unobstructed, without exception. No boxes stacked carelessly near the entrance at any point. No bags dropped and forgotten sitting right by the kitchen door. No shoes piled carelessly across that important and meaningful threshold space. The path from the front door to that kitchen was always kept completely free. She never chose to explain this using formal spiritual language to us, but whenever clutter began quietly building near that doorway, she would stop. She would look at it quietly and thoughtfully for just one brief moment. And then she would say with quiet certainty, "How is abundance supposed to find us if it cannot get through?" That one question carries the whole principle perfectly inside it. Jewish mothers throughout all the generations understood that stagnant spaces produce stagnant finances. If the path to where provision is prepared gets blocked, the flow interrupts itself. The home starts feeling heavy without anyone understanding exactly why. This is not mysticism being handed to you today. This is practical household intelligence built over many careful generations of observant women. Women who paid close attention to every pattern they observed inside their homes. Women who remembered everything they saw and then taught their daughters with full intention. Right now in your mind, walk from your front door to your kitchen. Is that path completely clear from one end to the other? Or is there a bag sitting there unmoved for an entire week? A delivery box still sitting exactly where it first landed? Shoes spread carelessly across your threshold right now as you watch this. Clear it tonight. Not this weekend, tonight. Abundance needs a clear and open path to reach where you live, and it is entirely your job to create that path for it. The fourth thing she never allowed was the language of lack spoken at the kitchen table. This is the teaching most people have genuinely never been shown in their lives. It may honestly be the most powerful one of all four things shared here today. At her table, you could speak openly and honestly about any real difficulty. You could talk about a genuinely hard season or a pressing real need. But there was one very specific type of sentence she absolutely refused to allow. "We cannot afford it. There is never enough for this family. Money does not come to people like us." Those words were not allowed over food. Not at her table. Not under her roof. Not once. When someone said, "We cannot afford that," she would respond quietly. She would say simply and without any drama, "We are finding the way." Not denial, not pretending the difficulty was not real, just a firm refusal to let permanent lack take root where bread was broken and shared. The Torah teaches that life and death are in the power of the tongue. This is not a poetic metaphor written for scholars and rabbis to debate alone. This is a law that Jewish mothers applied practically inside their own kitchens every single day. The table is where the family gathers and provision is blessed and received and shared. Words spoken over that table enter the meal itself. They enter the home. They enter every child sitting there and quietly growing up inside those words. If the words over your table carry scarcity, the home absorbs them slowly over time. Your children grow up inside those words without ever realizing what quietly happened to them. Your finances begin to mirror those words back to you year after year. My grandmother spoke abundance over her table, even in the genuinely difficult years, not because she was pretending to have wealth she simply did not have, but because she understood that the posture of the home shapes what that home receives. The rule about the table is simply and powerfully this one clear thing. At the table, speak of where you are actively going forward in life, not of where you feel stuck and unable to move beyond right now. Say, "We are finding the way," instead of, "We simply never have enough." This is the fourth and final thing she never allowed, and it is the one most modern households break every single day without knowing the cost. Here is exactly what I want you to do in your kitchen tonight. Walk slowly through your kitchen with your full attention on everything you see there. Look honestly at the counter and find the empty open vessel sitting there right now. Wash it before you sleep or fill it with something meaningful and intentional tonight. Then look carefully at your bread wherever it is currently being stored in your home. Is it stored with genuine care and real intention right now? If not, wrap it, cover it, and elevate it on the shelf tonight. Then walk to the entrance of your kitchen and simply stop there quietly. Look back toward your front door and assess whether that entire path is genuinely clear. If anything is blocking that important path right now, move it before you rest tonight. And then sit at your table for just one quiet and reflective moment. Think carefully about the very last sentence spoken about money in that room. Was it a sentence of provision actively moving toward your family? Or was it a sentence of permanent lack sitting quietly and staying put? You only need to change one single thing tonight. Just one. The home responds to intentional change far faster than most people ever expect. These 4 things are genuinely not complicated at all. They were never designed to be complicated by the women who passed them down. This is wisdom a devoted mother passes to her daughter on an ordinary afternoon, in an ordinary kitchen, with flour still sitting quietly on her hands. No money is required to begin any of these 4 things tonight. No new home is required before you genuinely start. Only awareness, only intention, only tonight. The women in my family did not live easy or comfortable financial lives. There were genuinely heavy and difficult years woven throughout their shared lives together. But the kitchen was always kept in proper and intentional order no matter what. The bread was always covered and treated with the deep respect it deserves. The vessels were never left carelessly empty and exposed on those counters. The table language never once settled into the permanent weight of total lack, and provision always managed to find them, regardless of the real difficulty surrounding them. Not always in dramatic or sudden ways that announced themselves loudly when they arrived, but steadily, faithfully. A home aligned to receive is simply different from one that broadcasts lack for years. I want that same steadiness and provision for your own home starting right now. Before you close this video today, do just one simple thing. In the comments below, write this declaration clearly. My kitchen carries abundance. Say those words out loud right now if you are honestly able to. Write them in the comments if saying them out loud feels too hard today. That is not just a phrase or a collection of comforting words. That is a real decision about how you will treat this room from today forward. Share this with one woman in your life who runs her own home. She may never have heard these 4 rules before today. She deserves to hear them now. Subscribe if you have not already done so today. Every week on this channel, I share what the Jewish home has always known about provision and alignment. the wisdom living quietly inside ordinary household spaces and objects all around you. Next week, we are moving our attention to the front door of your home. If your kitchen has been misaligned, your front door may be blocking abundance too. And the correction needed there is far simpler than you are going to believe. May every room in your home become a room truly built to receive. May your kitchen carry provision and real abundance into every corner of your family life. May abundance find you steadily and faithfully from this very day forward. I will see you in the next video.